And then I thought, all right, what about weapons? Because, I mean, it's America, and we love our guns. You know, look, statistically, there's more guns in this room than people right now. He's got about 12. But then I thought, all right, well, guns need bullets. The bullet is the weapon. The bullet is what kills people. And there's 300 million Americans. How many bullets can you possibly stuff in your pants? And look, I understand in a movie you need a shotgun. Shotguns look cool. They make a big blast. They make a big sound. They look macho. There's something strangely, I don't know. But somehow that action appeals to lots of teenage boys who go see those movies. But you think, a 12-gauge shotgun shell? How big is this? How many of these can you carry? They're huge. Oh, and by the way, if they're filled with buckshot, how many balls are in a buckshot?
3.
All right.
Double odd buck, yeah.
Double odd buck, there's 3. Okay, so you hit one zombie, you've wasted 2. Great, nice waste of powder and shot and physical space. So if you were going to use a gun, you'd want like a little .22. It's not very sexy. You know, you wouldn't see a movie where the dude from Cheers is like, come on, baby, pop, pop. Doesn't work. But it's what you need. 22 rimfire round. The guy just got the Cheers reference. Ha! Not Coach. Anyway. But the truth is, guns need bullets. So even if you have a gun, that can't be your primary weapon. So I came up with this crazy maxim, blades don't need reloading. You need a hand weapon. And for those of you who play World of Warcraft, a melee weapon. And I started thinking about, all right, melee weapons. So I went through books and books of melee weapons, which I already owned, I didn't admit it. Oh, well, this would work. That's a Shaolin spade. A halberd, that would work. I thought about it. It's an axe, and it's plus a spear, so you got to reach. I thought, obviously, a samurai sword, although, I mean, really, you kind of have to be a samurai. But it doesn't matter. But then you think to yourself, all right, well, weapons are expensive. I mean, like the real, you know, the real good quality kind. But then I thought, well, weapons used to be tools, right? All weapons started with tools. Nobody ever invented the battle axe. Invented the axe. And at one point, thousands of years ago, his ancestor, he's blonde, you know, Bjorn Bjornsson in the fjords of Norway, he's chopping a tree, and his friend comes up and went, oh, Bjorn, we have to go to the western shore. And Bjorn was chopping, oh, I don't have a weapon. Oh, Odin's balls. And his friend went, oh, Bjorn, be careful, you want to hurt someone with that. Bjorn went, yeah, yeah. The battle axe was invented. So the moral of the story is, you can find these melee weapons at your local hardware store. If you want a drow scimitar, one guy was like, yeah, I don't care, I never get laid, I'm admitting that. If you want that, if you want a battle axe or a dwarven maul, you just go to the you get a sledgehammer. You just, scimitar, you get a machete. So that's sort of where I was going with this. I was thinking constantly realistic. You know, when you guys go to movies, and there's always one nerd bag in your group that just won't let you enjoy it. You know, there's always one guy and you're like, well, that would never happen because the airspeed velocity, and there's no way that Chow Yun-Fat could jump over 2 tables with a pistol because the odds of him hitting anything, and you're just like, shut the fuck up! Well, that nerd bag is me. Because I think and think and think, and I think, okay, well, we got, all right, weapons, got it. I went through everything. And I talked about self-defense. I said, well, self-defense, because I've taken a little bit of my life to pretend I was cool, and I have plenty of friends who study it, and I've learned a lot of self-defense is psychological. You know, yeah, that's your key. There's no reason for that other than to psych out the guy you're trying, whose ass you're trying to kick. It's punching, it's kicking, it's all about pain and psychology. Well, if your enemy doesn't experience pain, and if it doesn't have any psychology, what do you need? Well, you're going to need something to get, what do? I thought about it. I said, well, zombies, well, all right, they're slow, so we don't need to be that fast. They like to grab, so we need something to get out of holds. You know, that's the most important thing. I actually thought of a self-defense move, which I've worked on very much, which I will show you when this is all over. But this is the kind of thing, you go deep, deep, deep. It's like transportation. Okay, yeah, transportation. Now remember, I wrote this in the late 90s, when there was nothing cooler than an SUV. All right? They didn't care if it got 2 miles to the gallon and crumpled when it hit a Yugo. You didn't care. This is the 90s. SUV. And I started doing research. I was like, wait a minute. Most SUVs are not as safe as sedans. Because you remember we used to think that. We were like, oh, well, it's bigger. It must be safer. No. Most of them are really dangerous. And also, as we said before, shitty gas mileage. So guess what? I don't care what you see in zombie movies. Gas stations are going to be the first thing looted. So what do you need? And you know, I'm from LA, so we all drive hybrids, which means we can get twice as far before we run out of gas and die. And I would say, until they invent a car that runs on fear, get on the bicycle. All right? It's easy to maintain. And I know someone's like, that sounds like red Chinese. Not anymore. They all have SUVs. But this is what I'm thinking about. Don't think about dramatic or sexy or cool, because I'm none of those. So think neurotic. Think, well, a bicycle, all right. It's powered by me, and it's easy to repair, and I can bring parts for it. And if I come up against a police barricade or whatever, I just pick it up, walk over, done. Like someone once asked me, literally, this is like the 4th lecture I've done in like 5 days. And one guy said, well, what about a horse? I said, great. Do you know about horses? And he goes, well, I live near them. I said, yeah. I've seen the shower scene in Stripes, doesn't mean I got laid. Yeah, horse is fine. I wrote about it in Zombie Survival Guide. But you have to know about horses. They need food, they need water, they need medicine, they need care. All right, so if you know about horses, as in you have already known about them throughout your life, sure, get on a horse, go. Go. But on Z-Day, you can just be like, oh look, a horse. Hey, let's approach it from the back in a scary way. You can't cram for Z-Day. This is the kind of thing I was always thinking about, transportation. And I was like, all right, where do we go? Well, we love the idea. Then I started to think about zombie siege tactics. Well, because we've all seen Night of the Living Dead. You know, I've probably seen it more than most. And there I was, watching it, and they're like, we gotta go in the basement. No, we gotta go stay here. We gotta go in the basement. No, we gotta stay here. I'm like, get up the stairs! Come on! And then from the bedroom, my wife's like, are you watching music? No, go back to sleep. I'll pay the electric bill tomorrow. Get up the stairs. You watch, that's what you do in standard tactics, is you look at your enemy and you think, what can he do? What can't he do? Well, we know that he can't climb very well. They're not good climbers, they're not dexterous. Oh, that's a disadvantage. Get up the stairs, and I'll destroy the stairs behind me. Boom. What can he do? Well, he can sure as hell wait me out. Because you don't need to eat, and you don't need to sleep. Because remember, we're not talking about 28 days later. He's not the infected. Remember that scene where the insane military commander, which by the way, what an original character. I've never seen an insane military commander in any other movie. And he has the infected tied up, and he says to Scarecrow, whatever his name is, Cillian Murphy, he says, I'm waiting to see how long it takes for the infected to stop. Now, me being a nerd, I was like, wait a minute. If they have to eat, they have to drink. And if they have to drink 4 days without water, their bodies would shut down. So in real life, he'd get up out of the hospital, and he'd go walking through London, and it would be strewn with dead, dehydrated bodies, and the movie would be called 4 Days Later.